Hello everyone. Today I will show you how to partition a face of a model. For example, this is a, beam. Maybe it's a concrete beam. For different reasons, we might need to partition the face, not the whole beam. So if we, for example, want to place support at the bottom surface of the beam. For example, we want to apply the support over a um, area of um, 4-inch wide and the width of the beam. So we need to create partition here. On the left side too, there will be, if it's a simply supported beam, then there will be two support. And we want to apply the, say, displacement control load at the top also. So we don't want to apply the load at one point, rather on a on an area like 4-inch by 8-inch or whatever the width of the beam is. So instead of partitioning the whole beam, we can just partition one of the faces of the beam. So if you partition the whole beam, the mesh will be um, based on the partitioned face, partitioned structure. So your mesh might be different than having a whole beam. So instead of partitioning the whole beam, we can just partition the faces, and that will do the that will serve the same purpose we want from the partitioning of the beam. So to partition a face, we can just go in the part module and come here. You can see the partition option, partition face edge case. So you can just click on this button and it will show different options. Like we can partition face using partition face edge case. We can draw the area where we want the partition to be. We can use 2 points and connecting that line. It will make a partition. We can use a datum plane. Different options are there. So we'll explore at least these options. I think I find this as more useful. Use datum plane. So datum planes mean it uses one of the planes as the reference plane, and you can make parallel planes, and then you can make partition. So for example, I want to apply the support reaction at the bottom side of this beam. So I will partition the bottom face first. So I can go here, and then it's asking select the faces to partition individually. So I want to select this face um, uh, partition to partition it. But before we do that, we need the datum plane. Okay, so now it's asking for a datum plane. So we need to create datum planes. So we need to do this before we start the partitioning. So click on this one, create datum plane offset from principal plane. It will show, if you click and hold on it, it will show these options. So I use this parallel path option a lot. It helps, it makes job easier. So create datum plane offset from plane. So we want to partition this face, and we need a plane perpendicular to this face. So I will select maybe either the right surface or the left surface, because I need the surface perpendicular to this one. So it's asking now, how do we want to specify the offset? So it will create another datum plane, and based on the distance between this parallel plane, you can either enter a value or select a point here. So it's not showing any point to select, so I definitely need to enter value. Now it's asking which way you want this offset to be, on the right side or left side. So we definitely need the offset to be on left direction, so we must click on flip. You can see the arrow direction has changed. Now we click on OK. So my support is, for example, 50 millimeter from the right end. So I will insert a value of 50 millimeter. This my beam dimensions are in millimeter. So it's put the value you in the unit you are using in your for your model. So if I select 50 and then press enter, you can see a datum plane has been created using, you can see the yellow lines here. So that's one. And then I want a 50 millimeter, that means 2-inch wide support. So I click this one again. I can either select the extreme face or I can select this datum face. So let's select this one, and then, sorry, what happened? Let's create a datum plane again. Select a plane from which to offset. So we can select this face and then enter value, definitely flip the sign, click OK. And then I want the support area to be 50 millimeter wide. So it has, oh, sorry, this time I had to select 100 millimeter, right? Sorry for the mistake. So, excuse me, what's happening? Enter value, flip the direction, and then I had to press 100. So I will make a partition here. It has already created a partition. I think I placed the wrong option there. So you can see it has already created a partition at the face. Now let's work on the left support. So create a parallel surface first. You can use the rotational view to get to your surface, and then offset from plane. Let's select this surface, enter value. We want in the other direction. Okay. So it should be 50 millimeter. I need another plane. Click OK, 100. So now let's partition the face. So click on this one, select the surface. Click on this one, select the surface. Now it's asking select the faces to partition. Done. It's now asking select a datum plane. So we want a partition here, create partition. You can see it has created the partition on this face only, not the whole beam. We can create another, we need to create another partition here. So let's select this part, done, and then the other datum plane. So create partition, it has created a partition here. On the right surface, I need to do the same thing. So select this surface, done, select datum plane. So I selected the left datum plane, it has created another partition. So as you can see, if you go to the three-dimensional view and then rotate it, it has created partition on the faces only, not on the beam. But if you want to partition this whole beam, we can do that too. For example, let's create a parallel plane in the middle of the beam and select a parallel face in the opposite direction, and let's enter the value as, I think my beam is 3000 millimeter long. So if I select 1500, it will create a plane there. So if I go to partition cell, define cutting plane, so we can use other option like using the datum plane. So let's select that option. I want to partition this datum at this datum plane. So partition, create partition, it has created the partition. So you can see it has created the whole beam it has divided the whole beam into two pieces. So partition cell divides the whole beam and it will affect your mesh definitely. I think the surface also affects the mesh, but it's not going to affect your whole beam. So at different um, uh, different at different times you'll have to use different partitioning techniques. I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any comments.